como el águila en vuelo, como la fiera en celo, desafiando fronteras, desafiando el honor. He pasado la vida explorando otras tierras para darle a mis hijos un mañana mejor. Si la muerte me alcanza en su loca carrera, envuelto en mi bandera, que me lleven allá. Que me canten el himno de mi patria 10 meses, o me muero 2 veces si me entierran acá. De paisano a paisano, del hermano al hermano, por querer trabajar. Nos han hecho la guerra, patrullando fronteras, no nos pueden domar. De paisano a paisano, del hermano al hermano, es de hombres llorar. Cómo duele la patria cuando llora mi raza, llanto internacional. De paisano a paisano, antes de seguir cantando, yo le pregunto al patrón: ¿quién recoge la cosecha? ¿Quién trabaja en la limpieza, hoteles y restaurantes? ¿Y quién se mata trabajando en construcción? Mientras el patrón regaña, tejiendo la telaraña en su lujosa mansión. Muchas veces ni nos pagan, pero que sane la llaga como cela envenenada, nos echan la inmigración. Si con mi canto pudiera, derrumbaría las fronteras para que el mundo viviera con una sola bandera en una misma nación. Y de paisano a paisano, del hermano al hermano, por querer trabajar. Nos han hecho la guerra, patrullando fronteras, no nos pueden domar. De paisano a paisano, del hermano al hermano, es de hombres llorar. Cómo duele la patria cuando llora mi raza, llanto internacional. Muchas gracias, thank you.
Gracias.
Se me olvidó otra vez. Se me olvidó otra vez.
Probablemente ya de mí te has olvidado, y mientras tanto yo te seguiré esperando. No me he querido ir para ver si algún día que tú quieras volver me encuentres todavía. Por eso aún estoy en el lugar de siempre, en la misma ciudad y con la misma gente, para que tú al volver no encuentres nada extraño y sea como ayer y nunca más dejarnos. Probablemente estoy pidiendo demasiado, se me olvidaba que ya habíamos terminado, que nunca volverás, que nunca me misma ciudad y con la misma gente, para que tú al volver no encuentres nada extraño y sea como ayer y nunca más dejarnos. Probablemente estoy pidiendo demasiado. Se me olvidaba que ya habíamos terminado, que nunca volverás, que nunca me quisiste. Se me olvidó otra vez que solo yo te quise. Ahí quedó. Gracias, gracias. Ya no me cantes cigarra, ya acaba tu sonsonete, que tu canto aquí en el alma como un puñal se me mete, sabiendo que cuando cantas, pregonando vas tu muerte. Marinero, marinero, dime si es verdad que sabes por qué distinguir no puedo, si en el fondo de los mares hay otro color más negro que el color de mis pesares. Ay, la la la. Ay, la la la. Ay, la la la. No hay otro color más negro que el color de mis pesares. Un palomito al volar que llevaba el pecho herido, ya casi para llorar, me dijo muy afligido: ya me canso de buscar un amor correspondido. Bajo la sombra de un árbol y al compás de mi guitarra, canto alegre este guapango, porque la vida se acaba y quiero morir cantando como muere la cigarra. Ay, la la la. Ay, la la la. Ay, la la la. Y quiero morir cantando como muere la cigarra. Ay, quedó. Gracias, gracias.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Let's give it up for Mariachi Promesa de Mexico. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad the sun has gone down. I'm glad there's a slight breeze. Welcome to Catalyst California's Champion for Equity Awards. We are celebrating our 25th anniversary, and we are so thrilled you all are here. My name is Wendy Killian, and I will be your MC for tonight. I'm going to try to keep this program moving smoothly. With more than 250 of you in the room and 30 people joining via live stream, we thank you. We are humbled by your attendance tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight, we gather not just to celebrate 25 years of innovation, impact, leadership, and power building, but to remind ourselves why showing up, speaking out, and standing together matters more now than ever before. We're living in a time where truth is being twisted, history is under attack, and silence is being, oh, that was the wrong line, and the rights of many are being rolled back, one policy, one power grab, one constitutional right at a time. We see authoritarian tactics being embedded into our institutions, communities living in fear, and silence being sold as civility. There is nothing great about what is happening right now, and we cannot normalize these actions. We cannot be silent. We cannot be silent. Our society, the very notion of a multiracial democracy, it breaks down when good people are silent. We have to keep doing the work, like our friends, our allies at Community Coalition, Inner City Struggle, and LA Voice. Organizing workers like SEIU and the AFL-CIO. I see you. And building power in coalitions like We Are California and the LA United Front. Together, we must confront the current crisis and fight like hell for a just future. So, for 25 years, Catalyst California, in my humble opinion, has been building bridges and building power. And tonight, we honor Molly and Steve, Angelica and April. That's right. Their audacity, their collaborative instincts, and their pursuit of justice and equity for all, they embody our organizational values, and we are so honored for them to be with us tonight. They have dedicated, their lives to fighting the good fight, whether it be in the courtroom, legislative chambers, in workplaces, or in the streets. These honorees, they have refused to be silent, and we must stand with them. So as we celebrate our honorees and their leadership in motion, which is the theme for tonight, and raise money to keep doing the good work we do, we, as Catalyst California, raise our voices to let you know we are not afraid, and we will not be silenced, and we are ready to get to work. Before we present the first award, I have just a few appreciations to offer. I already thanked the amazing mariachi band, but let's give it up again for them. And I think I missed the cue because I don't think you all heard the message from our mayor, Karen Bass. So, Amy, should they play that now? Okay, so I'm going to come back after you all hear from our mayor, Karen Bass.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you're gathered tonight to support Catalyst California and to honor these extraordinary leaders. For 25 years, Catalyst and its incredible leaders have led the way, advocating for equity, uniting communities, and of course, championing social justice. So I want to recognize tonight's honorees. Angelica Salas. Angelica, you are one of LA's, actually the nation's, most fearless and devoted leaders. These past few months, first of all, I have deeply appreciated working with you as we have fought back, and we will continue to do that every single day. And I just hope that tonight's celebration gives you the feel of the love and the recognition that you so deserve. And April, your leadership with SEIU from local 2015 to the national stage has been an inspiration. Your fierce commitment to anti-racism and multiracial solidarity strengthens the labor movement. It was a loss for LA when you left, but it was a gain for our nation. So congratulations, and we are all so proud and fortunate at the role that you are playing on the national level. Steve and Molly, we've known each other for a really long time, and your vision and leadership from, first of all, participating in founding Catalyst California, to your advocacy for students in early education have shaped LA in many profound ways. So congratulations again to everyone, and let's continue striving together, always for equity and justice.
So that was my fault. You should have seen that to start the evening. So let's give it up again for Mayor Bass and her inspiring message. Now, the final thanks before we start the program are to the amazing staff and board of Catalyst California, who really do embody leadership in motion. So will the staff and board of Catalyst California please stand and be recognized? While their accomplishments are too numerous to name, I do want to acknowledge a few recent wins for this crew, including the release of 2 upcoming reports that you'll see on the screens. The first highlighting the results of the Bold Vision Youth Thriving Survey, the largest and first of its kind in LA County that provides a powerful look at how 3,000 young people feel about how things are going for them. The survey offers recommendations and strategies for ensuring every young person in LA County has the opportunity to thrive. And the second, a groundbreaking digital and print publication co-written with our friends at the California Native Vote Project. This report uplifts the stories, the strength and sovereignty of Native peoples across California, carefully weaving together qualitative and quantitative data to create a more robust snapshot of American Indians and Alaska Natives in California. So this is a great work you all are here to support tonight, and we thank you. We thank our sponsors. You all, if it weren't for you, we would not be able to continue the work we do. So please check out the Tribute Journal that has messages from our supporters and sponsors to our honorees. You can click the QR code and do all kind of cool stuff to check that out. And if you're so moved throughout the night and you'd like to make another donation, you can also click a QR code, because that's the world we live in now, and make another donation. And for the live stream audience, there's a link in your chat as well. So now it is time to present the Advancing Justice Award to April Verrett. For each of tonight's honorees, a short video introduction will be followed by the awards presentation. Thank you.
The kind of labor organizations we see today are very different than even just a generation ago. And that's due to people and leaders like April Verrett.
I met Sister April Verrett maybe 2006, 2007, as we were merging our locals. And I remember how much joy she brings as a person and as a leader.
I was a bit of the sort of young, newer leader in the space. And there was April, this superstar labor leader. And I remember very clearly is how immediately warm she was and how immediately easy it was to get to know her, to sit and talk with her, and then eventually to be able to plan and partner with her.
We are ready to draft a new chapter in the history of North American labor.
It is important that at this time, as we are facing some of the worst and darkest moments in the democracy of this country, we have a president in SEIU like April Verrett. The first ever Black woman president of SEIU, who reflects what the members of this union look like.
Let's rise up, let's stay loud, Let's stay together. Let's go win. Let's go get it.
If it were not for SEIU, California would not be the bold, progressive, shining example of what it means to build inclusion, what it means to create a state for all. And April's leadership is an integral part of activating and manifesting those visions and dreams for our state and for our community. When I'm with April, it's like we can absolutely get this done. You believe it to your core that what we're doing is not only right, but it's possible.
She served her members through her leadership selflessly in every meeting, everywhere. Everything that she did, every action she took, you could see that she was doing it in service of improving those conditions.
She was always searching and constantly striving for a balance between focusing on the union's priorities and balancing that with the larger common good, particularly around the fight for racial justice. April was an absolute master at balancing those two and finding the win-win situation in all of those.
April, you are a mighty river that carries all of our aspirations, all of our pain, all of our life experience. Like you carry it for us on your shoulders and your heart.
That's the type of leadership we need to be able to see the light and have hope, and through that vision, be able to continue to win for worker and come out of this not with the same flawed democracy and system, but with a better and stronger democracy and economic system. So hats off to April Verrett.
April isn't able to join us tonight because of a national labor convening that starts tomorrow in D.C. Accepting the award on her behalf is Joseph Bryant, Executive Vice President of the Service Employees International Union. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank you so much. And since April is not here, can we, when I get this set up, because I want to send it to her right after I finish this, can we show her some love, y'all, and just the amazing leadership, humanity, and love that she's shown as leader? Can we give some love to April Verrett? And right now, in these times, we all need this love, right? Like challenging times. And I am so honored and privileged to be able to serve in partnership with April. And I'm going way off the notes at this point right now, but that video just touched me a little bit, right? Like it talked about who April is. It talked about a little bit about the road that April has traveled to get in the place that she is in as the first Black president of SEIU International. And she would say here, and I agree with her, it doesn't matter if she's Black, white, or anything else. She's in that position because she earned it. Based on the blood, sweat, and tears that she's put into this movement, based on the what she's done to move things forward, that is why my sister, April, is in the position. So one more round of applause just for April before I get into the official points. And on behalf of our SEIU family, the 2 million service and care workers throughout the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Canada, it's an absolute honor to be here and receive this award on behalf of President Verrett. I'd like to take a moment to thank Catalyst California, its board members, and every leader who played a part in her nomination. It is truly deserving, and we appreciate the consideration. Of course, April, she wanted to be here. We were working this thing out to the very last minute. I think I got my ticket like a couple hours ago yesterday before coming out here. She really wanted to be here, but couldn't be here. But she sends her gratitude for the recognition of this award. And again, in the video, as many of you know, April, before she became the international president, was a leader here in California, leading SEIU 2015, which is one of the biggest locals in the country. And she led with heart, she led with courage, And her leadership has been an integral part in activating and manifesting a vision for a just society here in California. And, like I think now she talks about how she has 3 homes for folks who know her. She's born, raised from Chicago, but LA is her home. She loves this place anytime she can be here. And now she has to deal with DC, but we'll leave that where it is. And through SEIU, she's been moving the needle, advancing justice across industries, geographies, and fighting for a world that builds leadership and power for working people who are far too often left out or, at best case, left behind. April believes in building enough power that ends poverty-wage work once and for all, that dismantles systemic and structural racism, that defeats authoritarianism, that protects and strengthens our future. And one thing, if you've ever had a conversation with April, I want to just go back to that first part. To end poverty wage work for all. Just imagine that. Let's all just imagine that for a second, where there's this concept that exists in this country that one job should mean that you should be able to take care of your family, right? If you show up every day, put in every day based on the state of this country, that should be enough, right? And that's not the reality. Folks have to work 2, 3 jobs in order to make ends meet, and the reality is most of them still aren't making ends meet. And what April continues to talk about day in, day out is, like, let's imagine this world that we can live in if every job actually meant that you could take care of your family. And we continue to push and strive for that. And if we can accomplish that, just imagine what that would mean. Just imagine what that would mean from LA, California, in this country. So as we think about, where we're going, thinking about how we get there in terms of one job should be enough, right? Y'all with me? That kind of world is only possible when organizations like Catalyst California, SEIU, and leaders like April Verrett put a racial and economic justice issues at the front and center. By dreaming together, building together, and taking action together, we can actually make this world a reality for working people and make those who have been underrepresented represented. For those who have been underserved, actually make them served. Catalyst California, your positive impact on the lives of millions of Californians matters. And this comes from a California kid, a California son, born and raised California. We thank you, Catalyst California. Can we give a round of applause for all the amazing work that Catalyst California has done for the last 25 years? And whether it be protecting our immigrant students in public schools, or helping to inform millions of residents in marginalized communities about what's happening in redistricting in their area. We see you. SEIU sees you. We stand with you. We thank you for being an invaluable resource and partner within the state of California. And we're going to hold to this vision together, because the reality is the world has changed. We're living in a different time in this moment, y'all. Just let's hold on to that for a second. What we've seen in the last week, what we've seen in the last 2 weeks, what we've seen in the last month, what we've seen in the last 8 months, it's not normal in terms of what we've seen. We've seen the militarization of police forces terrorizing Black, brown, and API communities. We've seen National Guards in LA, and I just came from DC, seen them there also, in our communities. And most of the time, they don't even know what they're doing when they're there. They're just there. But this is the new reality that we're facing in this moment. We've seen the militarization of ICE, mass deportations. We've seen families being torn apart. We've seen federal agents given the license to detain somebody based on how they look or how they speak. Like, this is genuinely the new reality that we're living in, and we almost have to do two things in this reality: accept we're in this reality and not accept this reality. This reality cannot become our norm. Once this reality becomes our norm, they win. But what Catalyst California and everybody here who is supporting Catalyst California and supporting the fight and supporting the movement, guess what? We're pushing back. Are we going to have this, y'all? We do have to use our collective power, and it must be different. To meet the moment of the different state and place that we're in, we must act differently, right? Is that fair? Like, whether it be from community-based organization, whether it be from labor, whether it be internally within labor, whether it be elected officials, we must operate and act differently, strategize, plan, execute differently to make sure that we're approaching this moment the right way. Does that make sense, y'all? And if April were here, she would say, and she said this last week at a meeting we were at, we can wait for the storm to pass, hoping things get back to normal, or we can become the storm, the force that changes the weather permanently. And part of what exists in that, and we've been struggling with it as an organization, is we know the moment that we're in is challenging. We know the moment that we left was not perfect, but what is that place we want to go? How do we articulate that vision? How do we gather the mass to accept that vision of where we want to go, not where we were, not where we are, but where we need to be? And if we come together in the right way, we can see that change. You know, part of, I think what we've all been trying to do is cope in these circumstances. Part of that coping is thinking about what we've dealt with, thinking about what my grandparents dealt with, my great-grandparents dealt with, and they dealt with a lot. And in this point in time, in thinking back, they did that for us. Can you raise a hand if you got a kid, nephew, niece, cousin, like somebody that you're willing to fight for, not just because of what the sacrifice is going to be in the moment, but for the future that we owe them. We owe them. And in this moment, it's not going to be easy, right? Like, we know they are going to throw everything in addition to the kitchen sink at us. They have. For the SEIU family here, we've seen our brother get put in handcuffs for coming out to observe, injustice of humanity. And that type of courage, that type of fortitude is going to be more necessary than any of us have probably ever dealt with in our lifetime. But we do it for the right reasons, right? Is that right? Right. Every single person here has somebody that should be the motivation for us to, take that extra step. And I'll close because I'm over my time. But if we do it together, we will win. And I'll say, finally, in the words of my sis, April Verrett, let's go get it. Thank you all very much.
Let's give it up again for Joseph Bryan and SEIU. Okay, folks, it's that time of the night where I get to introduce my boss, and he would be happy because he already whispered in my ear, you don't have to do this, but we're going to do it. So I'm not skipping this part, but you all can go to our website. You can read his full bio. So I thought I'd try something a little different. With the help of my colleague, Jennifer Zhang, we call her Jay-Z, we've composed 3 haiku to introduce you to John. Calm and decisive, John Kim is a great leader who also loves jazz. Our leader, John Kim, works hard for justice and community first. Solidarity, John brings voices together to fight for justice. That's right, yeah, you can clap. As much as we honor tonight's honorees, we also must honor John Kim, who has been at Catalyst California, Advancement Project California for 22 years and 8 months. So as John comes to this stage, let's give him a big round of applause. And following his words, we will present the Transformative Partner Award to Angelica Salas.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Wendy, so much. Wendy got to thank the staff and the board, so let me actually just quickly acknowledge our development team that put together such a beautiful event this evening. So Amy, Janice, Marilee, thank you all so much. So 25 years of this amazing organization, from the early days when Connie, Molly, and Steve were sitting in their kitchen table just dreaming all of this up, through 2.5 decades of extraordinary impact to this very moment tonight. I want to thank you all for being here and joining us. You know, I'm often asked by my friends and family, what can I do right now? What is the best way for me to show up in a moment like this? Well, tonight's honorees represent the very best examples of how to show up in a moment like this. April Verrett, as we saw, has long been an inspiration to me personally. I've always admired how effortlessly she could build community and then move us all into action. What's more amazing is her uncanny ability to make everybody around her feel more powerful in that action. Angelica Salas, my dear friend, we all are familiar with the critical contributions of leadership that she and Sheila have provided over decades, and especially over the last few months, given the federal invasion of Los Angeles. But I've seen directly and firsthand how selflessly and courageously she leads in the darkest of times. You know, given her very public profile, she is unfortunately under constant personal threat. And we've spoken about, you know, how to be more careful or how to increase security around her, but she's been very consistent. She is not gonna back down. And she's not going to take more security for herself until she gets it for her whole staff. And so that level of courage and selflessness is something that we all have to learn from today. And Molly and Steve, you know, before I get to you all, we're honoring the two of them today, but many of us know that it was actually about the 3 co-founders, Connie, Molly, and Steve together. Unfortunately, Connie couldn't join us. She's taking care of her brother in Texas tonight. But if we could just take a moment to recognize Connie's singular example of speaking truth to power, right? Now for Molly and Steve, you know, we obviously come from very different backgrounds. We have very different vantage points to this world, but somehow for about 23 years now, you have always made me feel like family. And I don't think it's anything special or unique about me, but just about how you move in this world. You've decided long ago to leverage your privilege and capacity on behalf of deep solidarity with those that share your values. And it's not performative, and it's not time limited. It's been real and constant for decades. And through good times and bad, you have been mine and this organization's greatest supporters. And I've learned so much from both of you. So thank you so much, Molly and Steve. Now, speaking of family, my brilliant wife, Jung-Hee Choi, is up here. Yeah, let's give Jung Yu a round of applause. Our very, very cool and amazing son, Ellis, is also here. He's the one with the chains, right, and the bling. But you know who's not here is our daughter, Naya. Our daughter, Naya, our firstborn, is actually, off at college. We dropped her off for her first year a few weeks ago. And as many of you know, that is an emotional roller coaster ride. The pride of what you feel to see what she's accomplished and who she's become, constantly checking my iPhone, tracking her location, making sure she's safe, but desperately hoping that she will give her old man a call. The strongest emotion by far, though, has been sadness. It's been a few weeks now, and I could be very clear with you all that I've been a little bit depressed. And it's the sadness of letting go of our lives with her over the past 18 years. All those small, wonderful moments at the house, even as a teenager, even right before she left, every time I came home, she would yell, "Daddy's home," and just run right over to me and give me a big hug. And it's hard to let that go. It's hard to let that version of our family go. It's hard to let that old world go. But we're doing it. It's kind of nice, just the three of us in the house. It's quieter. It's cleaner. Ellis gives also the best hugs. But we miss our daughter. And, I mention this because in many ways, I see all of us struggling to let go of an old world. Struggling to let go of that world, the America that we had before November 2024. Intellectually, we understand that we are in a new reality, but emotionally, it's been difficult to let go and take on our new assignment. We see, obviously, our rights consistently being salami sliced away and institutions all around us bending the knee. The daily notification on our phones of another hardworking neighbor brutally disappeared because of this color of their skin. Our budgets ravaged with health care and food supports ripped away from average Americans, all to subsidize tax breaks for the rich and military occupations of even more American cities. Exactly right. That's right. But we see all that, and we see the Dodgers are still playing baseball, TikTok keeps on ticking, and so many of our people just walking around their daily business like it was still 2023. It is an odd cognitive dissonance that we now swim in every day. It lulls us into thinking sometimes that maybe I could just turn off the news for a little bit, maybe cross my fingers, and it all go away. But that's exactly the kind of old world thinking that we need to shed. We need to wake up to the new assignments in this new world. We at Catalyst California got prepared early. We did our scenario planning with our allies last year. We started clearing out old world priorities to make room for the fights we knew that were coming. We invested heavily in new efforts designed for this new world. For example, with a large and ever-growing alliance of groups across the state, we helped to launch a new effort called We Are California just hours after the election was settled. We Are California is an effort to quickly aggregate the power and capacity of over 100 organizations to figure out how we break our old habits and how do we prepare for collective action. We got ready here in California because we knew that we were going to be a prime target, not just because of the problems that we struggle with, but because of what we represent. Big, diverse, massively productive, massively influential, gorgeous state that now sits as the fourth largest economy of the world. We represent a direct threat to the backwards vision of this regime, so we knew that we were going to be the focus of their ire. Thank God we got ready. By January, with our partners, we hit the ground running within days of the Eaton fire to support those who are directly and indirectly impacted. We organized pressure campaigns on those House members across the state around their votes for H.R. 1, that big billionaire BS bill. And we moved alongside our immigrant rights allies like Chilla to push back on the federal invasion of LA, to protect our neighbors, and to send the National Guard back home. But time is not on our side. We are indeed at an inflection point that will determine Will this latest chapter of American authoritarianism last for a few months, for a few years, or for a generation? The road ahead is unmapped and is fraught. Catalyst California is all in as we continue to shed our old world thinking and making big shifts within our organization to meet this moment. We will continue to build bigger and wider united fronts to push back against the authoritarian slide. We'll continue to fight for progressive policy wins to prove that there is an alternative to this grievance-filled kleptocracy. And we will work to build a collective vision of that next world that Joseph talked about, beyond this chaotic moment, because we cannot just focus on what we're fighting against. We have to be clear about what we're fighting for. In closing, there's a phrase that I've been using all year just to remind us of what this moment calls on us. The distance between us is their profit margin. Particularly after this past week, as they've raised the fear to a new boiling point. They hope this will keep us all silent and back us into our separate corners while they steal our collective future. The distance between us is their profit margin. They want to spread fear and division, but we know that courage begets courage. We know, if just looking around this room, look around, it's a little dark now, but look around in terms of the wondrous diversity, the collective amazing power that we have here, and we know that we can collectively make courage contagious. I want to thank all of you all again for joining us tonight, and again, congratulations to our honorees. Thank you so much.
It's difficult to overstate Angelica's impact on our state.
Angelica embodies resilience. Look at her life. She was undocumented herself. She lived in the shadows with her family, but finally they were able to get legalized, and then she was able to get U.S. citizenship.
I've actually known Angelica since she was an undergraduate at Occidental College, and I was a professor there.
We will continue to fight for our people and our claims that these actions are illegal, they are racist, and they must stop now.
She's just one of those leaders that kind of comes off in this very powerful way. So when I first met her, I feel like I may have been slightly intimidated.
What has been remarkable is watching her blossom from an undergraduate to an activist, to an advocate, to a leader of one of the most powerful immigrant rights organizations in the country, who took Obama to task around deportation, to someone who's standing up against the federal government now and its overreach in separating families and disappearing people.
She's been there every step of the way, and in fact, I'm so impressed by her that I made her my Congressional Woman of the Year.
She's always the first call that I make to help to think through meaning making around moments between racial tensions that we might be seeing, and about how we can partner together. And she will always make a contribution to the conversation that moves us to that next strategic level of our thinking.
She has, along with her colleagues at JITLA, built an organization that defends immigrants, but intersects with struggles for workers' rights, been able to influence state policy to provide insurance to undocumented Californians, to create support for dreamers within the state to get an education.
Our Democratic leaders respect her voice so strongly. When she pushes for something, they listen.
There are few leaders that have the political courage, and Angelica has always been one of them.
She is a gift to the state and certainly to all of us. Clearly, one of the sheroes of our movement here in California is Angelica Salas.
Please welcome to the stage Angelica Salas.
Se puede. Se puede. Thank you so much. And it is, I can't see you. It is very dark up here. So let's see how I do with my notes here. But good evening, everybody. I just really want to thank you for this recognition. And I accept it on behalf of my staff, my board. We have members here, and also our incredible grassroots members, over 51,000 dues-paying members strong. I also want to thank Myron, my husband, my partner in this journey, an organizer, one of the best organizers. He teaches me so much. I also want to take a special point of privilege tonight. I am joined by my Director of Policy and Advocacy, Jeanette Sanipatin, who is here. This woman works so hard in order to ensure that the legislation that Governor Newsom signed yesterday actually made it out of the legislature, the Assembly, the Senate. Was flying to Sacramento on I would say on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week when things got really, really hard. And often I get the honors, but I really want to make sure that tonight, after we have protections in our schools, protections in our hospitals, accountability for law enforcement and for these horrible ICE agents, I really want you, Jeanette, to stand up, and I want you to be honored too for all the work that you did in order for that work to happen. And thank you for joining me tonight. And of course, this is my opportunity to actually thank Catalyst California. John, you're an incredible friend, but you are surrounded by an incredible team that I get to work with in all the different projects. You are the powerful glue that brings the organizations of Los Angeles and California together to act powerfully and to win social justice that our people so desperately deserve. I have had the honor to work with Catalyst California since almost its inception. I've been at CHIRLA for 30 years, so I've been around before the organization, but I have learned so much from you. I have seen the incredible commitment of this organization to racial equity and justice. And it is this commitment that drives all the work. From Connie, I learned how to hold law enforcement accountable, that we deserved to be treated with dignity, and that excessive use of force was absolutely unacceptable. The work I've witnessed for Catalyst California includes working with them on our census so that we're counted, on creating fair redistricting maps so that we ensure full representation for everybody. And I mean everybody. It means it doesn't matter if you're a citizen or a non-citizen, you are counted in the census. I have seen Catalyst California in action during the pandemic when we came together to respond to the extraordinary loss of life that was, and Catalyst California evidenced the disproportionate impact on Latinos and African Americans, especially those living in poor neighborhoods throughout California. Together, we mapped out where to target resources, how to deploy vaccinations, and how to save lives. It was during the pandemic that immigrants were considered essential. We were essential because we fed you. We were essential because we nursed you. We were essential because we went to work when nobody else did. We saved America. And just recently, Catalyst leadership brought us together to respond to the devastation of the Los Angeles fires. Again, Catalyst California provided the data to demonstrate how Black and Brown communities would lose their ability to rebuild and return to their home unless we engaged in powerful advocacy and built organizing of the very people impacted by these fires. We were able at CHIRLA to serve 1,493 families. Many of them who we are still working on today because their homes haven't been rebuilt. Their lives are in ashes, but they have the spirit to keep moving forward, and all they need is their community behind them. And yes, together we have fought these horrific and despicable immigration enforcement actions. We have fought together with community, labor, and faith. Marching with us, fighting with us, has been Catalyst California. And alongside California Calls, PICO, and PICO, we all built We Are California, a coalition of progressive organizations that can align across constituencies and issues to respond to the all-out assault on our people and our country. For all you do, John and your team, for all you do, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being my brother in this fight, and thank you for taking action and demonstrating what solidarity looks like. And as was said earlier, we are living through one of this country's most powerful backlash to all the racial justice, the economic equity, the climate, immigrant rights justice, and advancement that we have all worked hard to achieve. We are living in dangerous and autocratic times. In my work, I see dehumanizing violence and terror visit our family, our friends, our neighbors. The human toll is devastating and immoral. Often, I am overwhelmed by the sheer lack of compassion and empathies of these federal officers, whether they are in the streets of LA or in the detention centers throughout this country. I am outraged at the President of the United States and all who support him and all who are complicit with his actions. But then, I see people from all walks of life taking actions in the streets. I see Cheerless members, the undocumented, still coming to our core leader retreats to figure out how to defend their families. We're filing lawsuits. We're helping sign into law historic state laws to protect our immigrant community. And my spirits are renewed, and my fighting spirit rebounds just like that boxer who gets up right up when the bell rings for another round. I see California, and I see Catalyst California at Cheerless Corner, standing strong through the adversity, figuring out new ways to keep fighting and winning justice for all our people. And I will leave you with this. John and I, and Casey Williams, who's here with us today, we just returned from a trip from Alabama, organized on a board we sit at the California Wellness Foundation Board. It was a learning trip. It was a trip to deepen our roots and our commitment to racial justice, and to be clear-eyed of what we must endure, and be clear-eyed of the great pains to advance the rights of our people. At the Legacy Museum that documents the American history of racial injustice, but more importantly, the perseverance of Black Americans, I read the following that brought me to tears. And it said in the reflection room, if we have the courage and the tenacity of our forebears who stood firmly like a rock against the lash of slavery, we should find a way to do for our day what they did for ours. It's our call to have courage. It's our call to remember that freedom in this country is advanced every generation for the next. It is our time that we find every ounce of courage, every ounce of tenacity to overcome this moment and to plant the seeds that will bend this country towards justice. We all deserve a better America. We deserve to have our families together. We deserve to have jobs that pay us a fair wage. We deserve to live in liberty and freedom. We deserve to be seen as the human beings that we are. It has never been easy for many of us in this country. It has never been easy. It's always been a fight, but it's a fight worth having. It's a fight worth undertaking because we are standing on the shoulders of courageous, visionary people. And I truly believe in my heart that we are walking with courageous and visionary people. And it is up to us to make sure that that Constitution that we cite when we go into court, those Bill of Rights, the human rights, the international human rights, that are not taken away when you cross a border. It is up to us that those words on paper are real in people's lives. And so tonight, I just want to say thank you to each and everyone for everything you do to advance social justice and to move our country towards that vision that our forefathers had for us, the dreams that they had for us. And let's just have wilder and bolder dreams for our children and our grandchildren and the generations forward. Thank you so very much, Catalyst California.
Let's give another round of applause to Angelica Salas. And now, we will present the Video Tribute and Champions for Equity Award to Molly Munger and Steve English.
Molly and Steve, what an honor, and it's so deserved. 30 years ago, I think we met, and I can't tell you the impact that the two of you have had, not just on this city, but on me, on Catalyst California, and on this entire region.
For this 25th anniversary, we're really excited to be able to honor two of our co-founders, Molly and Steve. But really, we should be very clear that this organization, all that we've accomplished, who we are and our values and how we move in this ecosystem is about all three of them, right? About Connie Rice, Molly Munger, and Steve English.
I first met Molly in the mid-1990s, and I was one of the two co-heads of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund's Los Angeles office. The rest is history, so to speak. She joined our office. She is a big case lawyer and was always thinking outside the box.
We founded Advancement Project California because we wanted to take forward the wonderful work that the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund had been doing.
We found that if you got Molly, you also got Steve. He also has that calm fearlessness and desire to change the world.
We have to understand the problems, and we have to solve the problems.
He's also a genius at organization, structure, and making things happen.
For Molly, oftentimes it's just about sitting with people, to getting to know people, to build relationship beyond what's on the agenda.
You came down to the ground and you helped us fight for the vision of a multiracial democracy because you too also believe in it.
There's one case that I think typifies the approach that Molly and Steve have to civil rights work, and that is the case against the state of California to get more money from the state for school construction from bonds. Students simply didn't have desks or chairs. There was a big money settlement because the judge was very impressed. I don't know of a civil rights case that's resulted in a recovery of $6 billion.
Because of you, there are 134 new beautifully designed schools. Without our lawsuit, without our bond measures, without us taking over the school board, that would not have happened.
The last thing I learned from Molly and Steve is that it's okay to be a nerd.
The nerdiness translates into care and attention to delve into the details, to actually get good results.
You get either of them in front of an Excel spreadsheet or with some data or really digging into the intricacies of an issue, their nerdiness really flies.
Your impact has been immeasurable. You don't just put your feet on the ground, you don't just do the lawsuits, you don't just back all of our work. You also put your money behind these causes.
The modesty is kind of a defining characteristic for both of them.
They do come from privilege, and they come from capacity, not just financial capacity, but a level of skill, a level of perspective, a level of wisdom. And even with that level of privilege and capacity, there are things about California, good things that have happened over the past 25 years or more that Molly and Steve were directly involved with, but you will never know about them because they've decided that getting credit was not as important as getting the win.
You've been champions for equity probably all of your lives, and no matter where you are. But Molly and Steve, bravo. What a run. And please, don't let it end here. We've got more work to do.
Please welcome to the stage Catalyst California's own Molly Munger and Steve English.
Well, you know, I thought there wasn't really much to prepare for this evening, but I was sitting down here a few minutes ago. I realized that there was one thing that I hadn't thought about in advance. So I said to Molly, "Who's going to go first?" And she said, "You are." So I just want to say that I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for this honor, this opportunity to see so many friends and so many people we admire. Thank you for joining us for this celebration of an organization we co-founded with Connie Rice and the remarkable Bill Land Lee. 25 years and counting. Now that's something to celebrate. Isn't it? 25 years. I'd like to use this occasion to tell you, very briefly, why I think we are so attached to this organization. The one-sentence answer is that we really like what the organization does. You should read the mission statement, of course, but in less formal words, this is an organization that brings together on its staff and with its supporters, like you, a band of people from a variety of diverse backgrounds and skills who are all committed to pushing back against injustice. Whether you work at Catalyst California or support or partner with us, you are advancing projects, some big projects, some small projects, that push back against injustice. Molly and I like that kind of work. And it is the fundamental reason why we are attached to this organization. I could talk about what the organization has accomplished in 25 years, but that would take a while. So let me just say that there have been plenty of wins to feed our pride and attach us more closely to Catalyst California, its allies, and its supporters. I am a meliorist, which means to me someone who has faith in the force of human efforts to make things better, poco a poco. As we all know, there are plenty of things that happen to make things worse. But my faith is that net, with so many people trying to make things better, in so many ways, things do get better overall, notwithstanding the forces that fuel the injustices that we are committed to push back against. So thank you, Catalyst California, those who work there, those who partner with it, and those who support it. Thank you for joining with us in this work that gives meaning to our lives. Thank you. You're next.
Between all that's been said, I feel there's not too much to say left, but just, I guess I'd like to say how grateful I am to all of you very much. I mean, it's just amazing to have had the opportunity to do the work. I feel a little like the stone in the fairy tale about stone soup. You know, the guy comes into town and says, make a soup out of a stone. Just look, just put this in the pot and it'll, you know, make soup. And everybody says, well, it'd be better if you put some carrots in it. It'd be better if you know, pretty soon he's got everybody contributing. And I feel like I'm kind of the stone in the stone soup of Catalyst, California. Because it's been such a joy to be the wind under the wings of Connie Rice, to be the sidekick of my adorable husband, who I love so much, and to raise up within the organization, who's been there virtually since the beginning, the amazing John Kim. What a huge blessing it's been. And then tonight to come and have all of you be here. I'm so touched by it. I'm so touched by the generosity of the contributions, by the showing up and saying hi. And it's been like watching my life go by. You know, everybody's from a different time and place of my life, but you're all here. Anyway, I thank you so much for being here. I thank you so much for your support and love. And you have all been on the journey with us. You've been part of Catalyst, whether you know it or not. You've all been part of Catalyst because you're part of us. So thank you so much.
Let's give another round of applause to Molly and Steve. Also to Angelica and April, thank you all so much for your undaunting leadership. So folks, we did it. We are at the end of our program and dessert is almost here. But before we go and visit with each other for a little bit longer, I do have a few thank yous. First of all, I want to thank the over 250 people who were here in person and the other folks online tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to our development, and I'm going out of order, Amy, so I apologize, but you may see some things on the screen that may be out of order. Apologies for that. I want to start by thanking our development team, Janice Johansson, Marilee Lopez, Jennifer Ho, and Amy Saucer, the amazing Allison Morgan, and all of our staff on the planning committee. Thank you, thank you. To Paolo Martinez, who did these beautiful videos, and his assistant Renee tonight for taking beautiful pictures. To our friends at Vox who did this amazing lighting. Did you see the 25th logo up there? How cool is that? And to our flower and cookie vendors, we couldn't do this night without you. To the folks at the Huntington and Bon Appetit Catering, who are probably over us at this point, thank you for your flexibility tonight. We appreciate you so much. To all of our sponsors, to all of the donors, everyone who's in the Tribute Journal, thank you. And the grand total raised tonight is over $454,000. Give it up. I would be remiss if I didn't say it's never too late to donate. So, you know, if the urge hits you, please feel free to click that link. For those of you who are on live stream, you can hop off anytime. We thank you for being here. And for those of you who are in the room, dessert and coffee, and I think the bar is open until 8:30. Please join us. I think that's it. We hope to see you again over the next 25 years. Thank you so much. Good night.